Welcome back to another edition of Fly Tying for Beginners with Jim Misiura. Today I'm going to tie a bluegill killer. The hook that I have in the vise, this is a size 12 and it is 3 extra long. I have a 3mm silver bead on there. And because this isn't a tungsten bead, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more weight on there. And I'm going to use some 20 thousandths lead-free wire. And we're just going to put a bunch on. Start at about where it's at the point. Okay, 20 wraps on there. The amount of weight is really up to you, how fast you want it to fall. I'm going to take my nail clippers and clip off that excess. And I'm going to use white thread. This is 70 denier. This is an 8/0 thread. Doesn't really matter what color thread. I'm actually going to color this thread at the end. Most likely going to color it. I'm going to start that behind the lead wraps and push the lead wraps into the countersink of the bead. And then bring that thread back out, down to where it would hang around at the barb. Now we're going to put a couple rubber legs off the back there. And these, I'm going to use this. This is kind of a strawberry color. And if you get them this way, you see they're connected. If you're going to make several, and you usually will make several at a time, keep one side of it connected still. And that'll just give you more control. You know, instead of trying to find two pieces on the table or trying to hold two pieces together, you got them still connected. I'm going to tie them in there. I'm going to put those butt sections right up to the lead wraps. And that will help to even out that lead wrap. And we'll go ahead and get that all connected or all tied down there. I'm going to take my scissors. I'm going to fold this over. You don't want to pull it. You want to pull it tight, but you don't want to stretch it. And you can make these however long you want, but I'm going to make them right at the bead. I'm going to cut them. So there's our tails. And we still have our two pieces connected. Those tails nice divided there. Now I'm going to take 3 pieces of Peacock Herl and I'm going to tie them in by the tips. Even those tips out there. And you could go ahead and make that Peacock Herl. You could put the butt end all the way up to the bead, or you could go ahead and put that butt end right to the end of the lead wraps like we did with the previous material. Now I'm going to take my rib, and I have a pearl rib. This is a number 16, and it's pearl, so there's no two colors, so it doesn't matter how you put it on. That little spot right there, the Peacock Herl will take care of that. And we're going to bring our thread up to, keep it a little ways in back, maybe a mil or 2 millimeters from the bead. Now we're going to take our Peacock Herl, and one thing, if you have trouble, especially for beginners, if you have trouble with your Peacock Herl breaking on you, one thing you can do is, I got my hackle pliers on there, just twist it. Not too tight, especially after the beginning, because you can twist it right off. Once I get that first wrap in there, I have the rotating vise, but I've just been doing it without rotating the vise for so long that I always do it without rotating. I could just hold that and turn it and bring it right up, but I'm just so used to doing it without it. These are long, so I'm going to get rid of my hackle plier. And we're going to bring this right up to the top. Make sure I get a lot of nice back that off there a little bit. There we go. Get a lot of nice wraps in there. And I broke one, but the thread is already securing him. Just 3 or 4 wraps. Put a couple, 2, 3 wraps in front of it. They're not going to break, so I'm going to take my scissors, trim that off. I'm going to take my pearl tinsel and I'm going to counter wrap it just like I would with a wire, and this is going to reinforce the Peacock Herl. You want to pull it tight, but again, you don't want to pull it too tight because you can stretch this tinsel. Get that right up to the top. Hold on to it until you get at least 1 wrap on there. There we go. There's 2, 3. Fold that back. Put another 3 or 4 wraps on it. Could trim that off. Now I'm going to take this is a brown hen hackle. I'm going to take the smallest ones off the bottom part of it. This is actually a hen saddle. Taking one of those from the bottom. And I don't want too much hackle on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it, I'm going to tie it in. I'm going to tie it in from this part, but I'm going to take the top off, and that'll give me half the amount of hackle. First, I'm going to take the fuzzy, and I'm going to hold that back, and I kind of hold it back with those fingers, and you can trim it, and I already have half of my crew cut going on there. So now I'm going to just take that top and just peel them off, but just be careful because you can break these stems easily. You can see how soft they are. So now I got my crew cut on there already. I'm going to tie that in. Take my hackle pliers now because this is so small. And I'm only going to give this two wraps, maybe 3. So we got 1, 2, and look at that, I'm almost out of the hackle already, so I'm just going to go ahead and tie that off. And one thing with the really soft hackles, they tend to bunch together. So first I'm going to trim off the excess. I'm going to pull everything back. Like I said, the barbels tend to stick together, so you kind of just have to touch them a few times to get them out. And now, since I didn't wrap this hackle quite close enough to the bead, and I don't like to have that collar of thread there. First, I'm going to give it like come back 1 thread width on it to send those hackles towards the rear. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of dubbing on there. I'm just going to use a dark dubbing. Doesn't really matter what it is. There's a dark olive right here. Awesome possum I grabbed. You just want enough to be able to hide that collar. Now before I wrap it all the way, I'm going to put my whip finish on there. Once, twice, 3 times. And there we have that. Nice and tight. Take the poke and snip cuticle trimmer. Put a little bit of head cement on there. And here you don't have to really skimp on the head cement. Just put it on the bead and on that collar head. That'll soak right in and that ain't going to go anywhere. And here we have a Peacock Herl bluegill killer. Hope that you learned something from this video. Hope that you would subscribe to my channel. Please refer me to your friends. Please visit my sponsors. Please leave comments, questions, suggestions. If you'd like to purchase any flies I make, go to etsy.com/shop/theflymanjim. And most of all, thank you very much for watching my videos.